Who am I talking with?
I am Lisa Stam.
And Lisa, we have worked together for how many years?
10 years. Yeah.
Never met before.
Never met. In fact, it was 2008 when I first reached out to LexBlog.
Yeah. And when you reached out in 2008, obviously you're a lawyer.
Yes.
Where were you working?
I was an associate at a global firm in Toronto. And when I ran it by the partners there and said, I'd like to do this thing called blogging, it was like a deer in the headlights. They weren't sure what I meant. And I had to change all the colors of it so that it wouldn't be associated with the firm because they hadn't figured out how they're going to fit social media into their ecosystem yet. So it took a couple of months of just being allowed to blog.
Right.
And now, of course, they have all kinds of blogs going on, as everybody else does.
And I remember that because when you're starting a company and all of a sudden you go, there's a lawyer on the phone. I'm talking with a lawyer at Baker McKenzie. Are they going to let her blog?
Well, you just said it out loud what firm it was.
Yeah,
I wasn't allowed to ever identify what the firm was.
You haven't. Probably good that if they would have actually served Baker McKenzie and LexBlog, which they might even be a client. A long time ago, they got in a fight with, I think, Boing about representing the football or soccer association and sent out some cease and desist. And like an idiot, I wrote a post that said, Baker McKenzie made an ass of themselves on the internet by doing it. In the Toronto office, at the time, the managing partner and the head of my group, they were great, but it's the reality of these great big firms that you are tied to whatever the mothership says you have to do, and so that was just, it took a long time to get it through the infrastructure and the bureaucracy of a big firm. No, it's not like you don't get things with a big firm. It's not like you're some average lawyer that's going to get the opportunity to go work at that firm either. So you're obviously pretty capable. What were your goals when you started that blog? I mean, what was going through your mind that you even said, I'm going to go ask, or I want to do this?
I actually credit the head of the group at the time who said, there's all kinds of employment lawyers in Toronto, so find something that will distinguish you. And I've always had a soft spot for tech and the nerd world, and I do like a bit of Star Trek. And I've done a wee bit of techie type stuff myself, so so it was partly that I wanted to explore the world of blogging to understand the tech issues and pain points that clients were coming to me. So part of it was jumping in and learning. Part of it is just, it's such an exponential way to communicate. And I could so quickly see that if the 4 readers of my blog share it out to 2 friends, that's way more than the people in an audience of the webinar that I just spent, or not webinar, the in-person speaking engagement that I had. So. No,
and I remember, because again, when we were a small company, and then you'd watch these successes. Because weren't you on national TV or something? They picked you up. Now that came because of the blog.
And I would show these stats to the group about, as soon as something would get tweeted out, the exponential power of Twitter in particular, and why we need to get on social. Instead of working so hard to get 60 clients showing up at a session, and they'd be so excited if 60 clients would show up. And I'm like, well, I had 1,200 people see my tweet through the exponential value of all if you start counting up the followers, and it's just...
And don't get me wrong as I ask you these questions. LexBlog's role in the world would be to obviously connect lawyers with people for good. By you being out there and sharing insight and commentary, people can know a little bit about what you know, how you think about things, and how you might be to work with. But even taking a step further is to empower and inspire legal bloggers. And give them that platform, that's true. But you're an inspiration, whether you believe it or not, to a lot of lawyers that might be, associates today, thinking about getting that same talk. You need to distinguish yourself in some way because there's so many lawyers doing this sort of thing. How are you going to do that? And I'm assuming, I've never been in those rooms in a large firm, but you're looking around the room thinking, I don't know if I like doing all the stuff they're doing to distinguish themselves, even though they did it. It worked, but that may not be for me.
It's a new world as well.
It's a new world. What would you tell someone in that shoes, like you were, 10, 11 years? What have you learned? What did you through this process? What did it do for you?
It gave me an instant voice. At the time, I'm pretty sure I was the first female employment lawyer in the city with a blog. And now there's,
in Toronto,
many in
large
Toronto.
city.
Yeah, in Toronto. So I was the first one. And it gave me this voice really quickly at 6 years out. So first it gave me a platform to just give my views on things, but it also really forced me to hone my analysis and be super careful about what I was saying, because that was one of the arguments or discussion points I had with at the time with the firm is, you will have a written record of everything I do. So if you need to monitor my content, totally fine, here's the link. But you can also send me out to speaking engagements and no one has any idea what I'm saying there. I might be completely wrong. So if you are forced to write it down, you're going to hone the legal content and then the analysis and really think through your audience.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, Jerry Spence, great, people know him as the cowboy lawyer from Wyoming or whatever, but he used to talk about the number of senses that you can apply to what you're thinking about with a trial. That if you wrote out your opening statement, it wasn't to read it, but it was to think about it, write it out, see it on the screen, and then maybe make modifications again. You got that much going on. What the blog does, it gets you out there to think about what are people thinking.
Yes, I agree.
Critical analysis is really deepening on this. How might they respond?
Yeah,
that's what I think.
And how are they receiving the information? So, what is the legal problem they want solved, and how do we talk to that? Not, what are my credentials, or all the that I'm at a fancy law firm. It's what is their legal problem, and what kind of work do I want to do? So let me talk about that legal problem more than this legal problem. But you really get to, any participation online lets you talk to your audience right away and try to understand better what they're looking for.
You're networking through the internet.
Yes.
Going places where most lawyers don't go. What was the most surprising thing from blogging? And you continue to do it today. But what's been the most surprising? Or what's some story that some client came up or said this or that about the blog, or found you via the blog? I'm just curious.
Yeah, the first couple of years, when someone would reach out because of the blog or because of a tweet they saw about the blog, it was jaw-dropping each time. It's super exciting that the internet is, now it just feels, our SEO is really good, and of course, like how else do you get clients? In fact, the marketing budget of my firm now is pretty small because we just get out there and blog and write and do it that way. But the most surprising, surprising at first was just how long it took for people to adopt it, because it's such a quick and easy access to a
lawyers
voice.
To adapt it.
Yeah, lawyers to adapt it, and what isn't surprising is how many lawyers still think that it's not what lawyers should be doing, right? That we're giving away intellectual capital. That was something I kept hearing, and that we're making the profession, Walmartizing the profession, all that stuff.
That was the threshold question 15 years ago for LexBlog, when I said, okay, which firms should we contact? Those firms that are willing to give away their intellectual capital, because most firms are not. Who's sitting there publishing, if you will, putting things online to give of themselves to people, knowing that that's how you get work. It's not how people go, oh my God, I got it for free. I don't need a lawyer anymore.
Like if you want to buy a pair of shoes, you go through a sales funnel. I mean, like if you're going to invest so much time in such a personal thing like
you don't do surgery by going online and reading about it. You might hire that surgeon as a result, or go to that surgeon. Today you have your own firm.
Yeah.
How many people in that firm?
We have 10 in our firm now, and I have to really give credit to the people that contribute to the blog now. So Hillary Page is a key piece of why we win awards, so I just want to make sure that she's getting credit. And so we all blog and do it together, but I have a really strong team now that really helps contribute to it as well.
How long has Hillary been practicing?
She's a 7-year lawyer. Yeah. And she's someone who is an amazing lawyer and hates networking, hates cocktail parties, hates all of that. So her role is to write.
I do too.
Yeah, well, and it's just such an old school, like who gets clients that way anymore, right? I mean, I'm at the conference here talking to people, but it's because it's, we're chatting about stuff besides law.
I never met you, and I come up and give you a hug.
That's true.
I mean, really. People know. And I'm sure you meet people in Toronto. They know you.
Well, you know what?
yours is
So that
down.
table over there is the Lawyer Smack table, and I participate in Lawyer Smack.
Yeah.
So it's a whole bunch of
Peter's
people.
done a great job.
Yeah, and I met all these people, and I could finally put handles to faces 2 days ago. You know, and it's neat to have this whole community here already that I just only know through online. It's a new world.
What could LexBlog do as a place that is aggregating and curating all these blog posts and gaining them up when more people, can potentially see them? What can we do for bloggers? I mean, I'm hitting you kind of blind with that question, but I was just thinking about it. If somebody that has bloggers working with them, been blogging so long, what would bloggers like to have? If you had a magic wand.
Well, I have to say the first half year with LexBlog was critical to my career because you did such great onboard training, really teaching me about the audience and who am I writing to and thinking through that branding piece. And as an associate at a firm where you have zero control over the firm's branding, it is such a great opportunity to really think through your personal brand to get out there. So blogging is so keep doing that for sure, and offering up that marketing piece and that personal branding for lawyers to help find their voice. I think that's a key piece. For somebody who's been doing it for a decade, I don't know, anytime we ever have an issue, we just call and there's such great service. It is interesting how LexBlog is moving more and more to a more of a SaaS model than the sort of the bespoke thing at the beginning.
And the tougher reason is that you had all these sites, you had 1,000 plus sites. So if you wanted to update the technology, you had to go touch all these things. And then each one of them would have, we want a little bit of that, we want a little bit of that. Well, then you have to do an update of the core technology when you'd have to catalog all of the plugins to see if they would work. And then what happens is the clients think WordPress is great because it has all these plugins, but they don't know that the plugin that they like the most was done by a kid in a basement in North Carolina. And the kid goes away to college and it can't be updated. I'm serious.
So
you have
believe
major
it.
law firms that do this
That's
crazy
so funny.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so their platforms aren't fast, they're insecure, they're not stable. And we're looking at it going, yikes, no, we won't do that. And because we can't afford to make our platform insecure because we think people will get really spooked if porn goes up on some major law firm's blog. Where you can deal with that on your own. But what you just said was something I just wrote back to the team this morning. And I said, no more blogs, no more bloggers. If they aren't getting strategic coaching, really strategic.
Oh,
not
that's
just
important.
Coaching. Because what happened though, you might believe it, but the large firms wanted to keep things moving. So Stephen Covey always used this analogy, and first things first. They were going through the rainforest, and the person up on top of the ladder could see where they were headed. People down on the bottom that were chopping it wanted to make good progress. So the person up on top goes, "You're going the wrong way," and they go, "It's okay, we're making really good progress." And so the law firms, as I went into this strategic consulting, we can't slow the lawyers down. We've got to get this up. We only have so many meetings where they can participate in it. So then what it became was content and content marketing. And then buying data and buying software packages to measure the data. And then crazier yet, it was like you'd say, Kevin, I'm not getting the audience I would like to have. I go, well, we got a software package for that. We can push it out to more people. And you go, I'll buy that. So then you said, well, how do I know how many people are seeing it? Oh, we got a data package for that. So now you've bought the platform, the distribution thing, and the data package. And now you have really good lawyers spending their time. They're not getting a return on that time. So I get sad thinking about a lawyer spending hundreds of dollars an hour in time as a good lawyer, young or old. They could be doing better for blogging based on what you just described.
But I do think there's it's such an opportunity for the younger lawyer to get their personal brand out there. But it's certainly nothing we would ever learn in law school, ever. And even just the business sense of who are you writing to? Write to someone that you want to sell legal services to, and not just what's easier. I do try and syndicate content of issues that I've thought of that we've thought about over the last few months, so that we're not going off and doing fresh research. So I think there's a lot of strategies that you can do to make your blogging a lot more efficient. But it's 350 words, like it's an hour. Like you shouldn't be spending more than that.
No,
yeah,
it's not
get it out there.
It's not a 4 or 5 hour deal. It's not wait a month before I've got to get it up. You learn when you get it up.
Yeah.
You're here at Clio.
Yes.
What do you think so far? Less than
I love it.
You love it.
I love it. So this is my first CleoCon, and I really got a kick out of the opening plenary with the big rock star show and the.
Well, you're a Canadian.
I know.
You had a Canadian up on stage.
I know, but it was so un-Canadian to be so flashy, and he was bragging about how cool Cleo is. I was so proud of him. It was great.
What are you hoping to get out of it? Maybe you already got out of it. Maybe you already did.
Well, for me, a big target for our firm is U.S. employers with operations in Canada. Okay. So I love just talking to U.S. lawyers, and that's always been a big reason why we love working with LexBlog. It gave me this U.S. platform that I would never have in Canada. So that's it's been a deliberate choice for me to stay with LexBlog because of the push out to U.S. counsel and other audience. But here, it's still primarily Americans here, so I get to meet our neighbors.
But it's good stuff. It's the way that how you look at how services have to be delivered today in a consumer-driven economy.
Well, that's the thing, right? We're so keen to really build out our legal products instead of just legal services, and there's just a lot of good ideas and vendors here to talk to.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. Very good to meet in person.
Likewise. Maybe I'll see you around and have a drink later, a glass of wine later tonight.
That would be great.